back again to, I don't know, take the edge off. Is that what it is that we provide?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, just a half hour or so of just nonsense.
Yeah.
I think is the best way to describe this Too Good for Radio podcast. It's why it's too good for radio, because it's utter nonsense, but it's fun.
Right, yeah. It's, it lightens people up. It improves their lives. You get some positive endorphins going through there.
We are the eugenics of podcasts.
Why would radio want anything to do with...
for making people feel good. Let's argue more.
Having a positive impact on society.
That would be, why would that? Yeah, exactly, Johnny. Why? Why, in fact? It is the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. This did not make people feel good. This particular email that went out before the holidays.
It was 2 days before Christmas. And it was a text. So there you are. You're ready to, have the holiday goose or whatever it is you do. You're cutting into your mincemeat pie, all the usual Hollywood holiday things.
Yeah, if you're in England.
Well, this is in England, actually.
Okay, perfect then.
Yeah, so it works.
Makes sense.
When the following text message suddenly shows up on your phone.
Okay.
From the forwarded letters at CMP, that's the name of the hospital or the clinic, has asked you to do a DS 1500 for the above patient. Diagnosis: aggressive lung cancer with metastasis.
Whoa! So it's spread.
Yeah.
By the way, I was today days old that I understood what metastasized means. Mm-hmm. It came up in like Chicago Med, and they asked the patient, was like, "Do you know what that means?" And Jen, my wife looks at me and goes, "Do you know what it means?" I'm like, "That means it's like it's stuck onto whatever organ, right?" She's like, "No, it means it's spread.
It's moving fast."
Yeah, exactly.
So this shows up in text. You just get bling, and you look at your text, and it says diagnosis: aggressive lung cancer.
Merry Christmas.
And it's metastasizing.
Oh, okay.
It's on the march.
Was this just to one person?
No.
Oh, no.
No. About 8,000 patients.
Oh, God.
Sarah Hargraves, who was waiting for medical test results, said she broke down when she received the text, only to be told later, well, sorry, that was a mistake.
Oh, my God. It's one thing if you get it just randomly. Yeah. Not have gone to that doctor, just had your random physical, and they didn't take any scopes or anything to get that. You go, okay, maybe it was an error. But if you're awaiting a test result, and you get that text, good Lord, it makes for an interesting Christmas.
And it says, to fill out a DS 1500 form, which is the form that you fill out when you have terminal illness to claim benefits.
Oh God.
She said, I felt sick to my stomach. I broke down. She said, I just had a mole removed. I was waiting for a result from a biopsy.
Oh, God.
And I'd been to the hospital as my smear test came back abnormal. So I was kind of on edge anyway.
Rightfully so.
Another guy, Carl Chegwin.
Carl.
Said both he and his mom got the text. It's like
Merry Christmas.
It's a family epidemic.
Yikes.
It completely took me by surprise. It's not often I go to the doctors and out of the blue, I've got cancer.
That's why I don't go to the doctor.
I said, I don't smoke. I don't know. How do I suddenly have this aggressive lung cancer? And meanwhile, a woman said she was left very worried about the text. I rang the doctors, but on hold as usual. I walked around as I live around the corner, and 6 people were there panicking, pounding on the door, saying, what the hell's going on? About an hour later, this text shows up.
Okay, so thank God it was within an hour. It wasn't over the Christmas holiday, they send this, and then 5 days later, sorry, my bad. So entire Christmas is, this is going to be my last Christmas with all of you.
So now there are 2 texts on your phone from the same clinic. One says you have
got the cancer,
aggressive lung cancer, and the next one says, please accept our sincere apologies for the previous text message sent. It had been sent in error. Our message to you should have read, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Who gets that one confused? Who gets that confused between you having a very aggressive...
see how
very similar.
Very easy mistake to make. Anybody could have done that. We had the lung cancer text and we had the Merry Christmas text, and we just pushed the button at the wrong time, and everybody gets the lung cancer text instead of...
By the way, how is the lung cancer text set up in like a
Right.
queue
Why would
that
this-
would just be a button to press.
It should be in a different office.
It
There should be one office that's just for nice, happy thing. And you can't tell somebody over text they have cancer.
No, that is terrible.
That's come into the office. We need to look at some of these results and have
Well,
a
they won't
conversation.
even, considering they won't even leave a message
Yeah.
to let you know your test result of like if your pee has marijuana in it or whatever. They're going to text you have cancer?
What if the message was meant for someone and they were told it's a Christmas message and they're like, oh no, that's actually meant for you. If it's one of their admins to send out a mass text, I wouldn't be trusting them to empty the bins.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I just don't know how that's in a queue that
Yeah.
could be anywhere close to Merry Christmas, Happy. Wouldn't you just have different directories for your text to be like, okay, here's the holiday one.
Yeah.
Here's the cancers ones. Here's the holiday ones. Here's the STD ones. Here's,
I can't. I'm really uncomfortable with the notion that a clinic would be sending out texts for something that serious.
It'd be like a text, be like, sorry, you have the AIDS.
If it said something like, hey, your vitamin D is a little low, maybe
Right,
get some
that's
supplements
fine.
or something.
But not aggressive metastasized cancer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Merry Christmas is what we meant to say.
Sorry about
And it
that.
came out cancer. You know how
Christmas cancer?
that sometimes happens.
Do you know how many times I've said that to people in their
Merry cancer. And a happy lymphoma.
Exactly. Cancer Christmas. We move on to we've talked for years about a name triumvirate in all hospitals of saying yay or nay to the names you give your child.
Some sort of committee, because you're in the haze of this newborn life.
Right.
You're excited, and every child is just you want to name every child Angel or Princess or Heaven. Because it's incredible. It's absolutely overwhelming.
The feeling of euphoria. Correct. You may want to name him Euphoria.
And you need some sober people to go, hang tight, wait a couple days, and name the kid Charlie.
Well, if you want to ensure your child has a sexy name, which I don't know why you would,
Oh, yeah.
but the sex toy brand Love Honey has determined the sexiest names in the English language.
I'm good. We're going to them for this information.
So here's how they did it, though.
Yeah.
They analyzed names in romance movies and erotic fiction novels.
Oh, okay.
So they took the names of protagonists in the top 120 highest-grossing romance movies of all time, as well as the names of desirable characters in the 100 best-selling erotic fiction novels on Amazon.
Is one of them Craig?
No, but it's not. Here's the thing.
Beth.
It's not as exotic as you would think
Oh, okay.
for the sexy name. So here we go. For men, what would you think the hottest name would be for men?
Something with a Latin sound to it.
You would think like an Enrique,
Yeah, there
right?
you go, yeah.
No, Jack.
Jack.
Jack is the hottest name thanks to dreamy characters such as Titanic's Jack Dawson and Brokeback Mountain's Jack Twist.
All right.
There you go.
There's a certain...
The other ones tied for second place, 3 tied for second. Nick, Ben, and James.
Youch.
Do you think of a Ben? What sexy Ben is out there? Ben-Hur?
Nope.
Ben Dover?
No.
I mean...
Nothing.
Nothing. And they found in third place Peter and Joe. So here's what the sexy names were, according to their research. Jack, Nick, Ben, James, Peter, and Joe.
And so is there something to this that it's just this sort of masculine, standard
That's, I
sort
guess,
of
true,
stock
yeah.
man name?
There was Joe with shirt off, rippling chest,
Right, 'cause they're not-
Eugenics bottle in his hand.
Yeah. And maybe that's not something that women think a lot about.
Maybe not. As far as women, what would you think the sexiest woman's name is?
Susanna.
No. Mary.
Mary?
Yeah, it's the sexiest thing in this name. The researchers referenced beautiful blonde Mary Jensen from the Something About Mary. She is emblematic of the virginal and flirty connotations
I see. All
of
right.
the moniker.
Yeah. That's right.
Meanwhile, there's a 4-way
Guys
tie.
named Jack always want virgins named Mary.
Jack and Mary.
Yeah.
By the way, there is a 4-way tie for the second sexiest name with Rachel, Katie, Julia, and Eva.
All right.
And then 6 names came in equal in third place. Suzanne, Madonna, Sophie, Mia, Julie, Belle, and Anna.
And I hate to be that guy because there are plenty of podcasts that will opine on this thing. Aren't all those names pretty white?
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
That's a very Anglo-Saxon sexy name. What do you do with this then? I mean, do you when a child is born, the parents go, you know what, we want this kid to get some action later in life, so we better give him a sexy name.
Like Jack.
Like,
I think if you were to just ask parents, not that you would or should, of like, hey, what's a sexy name you can eventually give this kid to ensure that they're going to, one way or the other, most of them would think of something with more flavor than, I'm going to name my kid Ben. He's going to get a lot of action.
Right.
James over here is really going to get all that poon. Like, no, it's not going to be that way.
Julio
and Julia. Yeah. So it's interesting that it's not as exotic as we thought it would be.
No.
It's all very vanilla, to your point.
And some of those stories, there's always like this like exotic shirtless painter in there who's just like in his jeans, like a Jackson Pollock. There's another Jack name. Let's introduce you to Philippine artist Elito Cerca.
Okay.
Who uses blood to paint.
That's not a good thing to do, I don't think.
Born in a low-income household with little access to school supplies and art materials, Cerca explored different mediums, including plums, tomatoes, but it was when he scraped himself that his fascination began using blood.
As a kid, he started with this?
He says, every time I got scraped, I would use my own blood, since blood stains are also hard to remove.
Yeah,
said Cerca while dabbing a white canvas with a paintbrush dipped in blood.
Who's buying these paintings, by the way? Is this a conversation? You walk into someone's home and they're like, yeah, this is a Cerca. That's all, nothing. There's no paint there. That is all written in blood. That is drawn in blood. Don't you immediately walk out?
Right, exactly. I think so. You should, yes.
What are you, Dracula?
Right.
Why you got a blood painting on the wall?
Here's the thing. Okay, so let's say he scraped himself. He happened to kind of do a blood smear thing and made it part of the painting, and it becomes this sort of unique one-off sort of
He's
thing.
working so hard.
Something. Yeah. You can. There's some passion to that. Oh no. Now he regularly goes down to the town's health clinic once every 3 months to get 17 ounces of his own blood. Which he then stores in the refrigerator back in his studio for future painting projects.
And all of that. You can't. By the way, can you imagine for a second going in and be like, I'm here to donate blood. Thank you, sir, for saving a life. No. Give it back to me.
Give that back.
For what?
Right.
Are you saving it for a big operation or procedure? No. I got a painting. The muse has hit me. I have to paint with my own blood.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's walking down the downtown streets in the Philippines with a couple bags of blood. A car flips over, and somebody says, oh, my God, we need some typo negative, does it? And he's just like hiding it under his jacket.
He's like,
no, this is for art.
I hope he's not also collecting all the gift cards for donating blood. Like, he's donated 100 times.
Right. I don't know. What's 17 ounces? That seems like a lot of blood. I don't know how much you get.
How much do they usually take out of you when you donate blood?
A pint?
I don't know.
How much is a pint?
Is a pint 17 ounces?
No.
I should have brought my phone in here.
How many
ounces in a pint? It's weird.
16 ounces. Okay, so it's roughly
about a pint.
Okay.
Yeah, so a pint of blood.
He says, my artwork is very important to me because they come from me. It is my own blood. My DNA is part of it. My philosophy is that life is circular and everything is a cycle. So my blood is a tool that serves as a reminder where I came from.
I love how you're talking almost like Dracula.
Yeah.
Because it's blood involved.
Yeah.
By the way, if you screw up that painting, if you're like, oh, damn it, I missed a brushstroke here on that bush. You're like, well, scrap it. I got to go give some more blood.
After painting a 4-by-8 foot mural.
In all his own blood?
Depicting the town where he grew up, he sets his sights on a more ambitious project to create, in 2023, the largest blood painting on a 328-foot canvas.
No.
Stop this guy. Stop this man.
You can't. First of all, 4-by-8 foot is way too much. 328 feet of all your own blood. No, thank you.
But okay, so he
it's all one color too, right?
He's going to become Dexter at some point, right? He is just going to start taking lives.
He's going to have
in order to get the blood.
Feed his blood painting.
Yes. And pretty soon, once every 3 months is not going to be enough, and he's going to have to start taking lives, and that's going to happen.
It is.
There's no way that's not going to happen.
He's going to get frustrated when he's down to he's only got 20 feet done in 2 years, and he's like, I got another 328. Gonna have to start doing this.
Download this podcast, store it somewhere on your phone or your computer, because I'm hereby declaring that by first quarter of 2024, this man is
arrested.
This man is a Netflix documentary.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So what's that name again to look for?
His name is Elito Cerca.
He's also, yeah. So he'll be on a Netflix documentary.
Freak.
Yeah. Would someone painting in their own blood be a deal breaker for you
Yes.
when it comes to dating?
Yes.
Okay. Because it doesn't make this top 10 list, but here is a list of the top 10 dating deal breakers.
I had a girl take me to her apartment once, and she was feeding raw meat to her piranha.
Oh, okay.
Like,
that's interesting.
We're done here. We can't. I'm not going to have this.
Yeah, that's an odd pet to have.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You make a wrong step, and then she's like, oh, you didn't get me the right gift.
Exactly.
So she takes your finger and puts it in the...
She's no better than Enrico Cerca.
No. Enrico Palazzo. Yeah. So here are the top 10 dating deal breakers, according to research. Number 10, talking too loudly.
Yeah.
Here's one that is interesting to me. Double texting, which is sending a secondary text if you've not responded after the first one.
Oh, wow.
Is a deal breaker. So if you send a text and you receive it and you don't respond, and the person then sends you a second one, that's a deal breaker for some, because it shows that the person's too needy.
Yeah. Over what period of time?
Correct.
But I think if you don't get a reply, you don't get a reply. You just kind of...
I usually, if I don't hear from... I'm much better now than I used to be, because I treated texting like I treat most conversations. I don't like silence.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, 10 minutes, whoa. But now I'm better, and I'm like, they may not have time.
I don't think you're unusual. I think people assume, unless you see on your phone that the text has been read, which some phones will do that. I don't think you're unusual. I think people assume that I have sent a text and it's gone right into the person's brain, and they already know what's going on.
Yeah, and they don't. So you got to give... I'm better at giving some time. And some individuals I just know are notorious to not text back.
Yeah.
That's just the way they are. So, but double texting is a deal breaker. Having bad teeth is a deal breaker. So sorry, Jewel.
That's a look. I'm in no position to be picky here, and I really shouldn't be. But I can understand. Yeah, I mean, somebody starts laughing, and one's going this way, one's going the other way.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Also in this top 10 list of dating deal breakers, being too clingy goes back to the double texting. When you get smothered, you can kind of tell, right? When those couples early on in the relationship, I think it's okay. People are all right with it. But they can never separate. That's when you go, uh-oh, there's something going on here. Here's one: having dirty fingernails.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever that's one that throws you off when you're like, you see them reach for your hand and you're like, okay.
Yeah, unless she's like a mechanic or something.
Right. Then it may be a little bit on the sexy side for you.
Blood artist.
Yes. Sorry about the red underneath my fingernails. I'm a blood artist. Being overbearing and rude. Understandable why that'd be a deal breaker. Living in a mess. Dirty house. That makes sense. But guys, I think notorious when you're a single guy, the first time the girl comes over to your apartment, you clean like you've never cleaned before in your life.
I'm pretty forgiving on that one, because I know that I just drop things when I walk in the door and flunk,
Unless it's a hoarder house or apartment, I'm probably giving it a pass. Being rude to a waiter or waitress.
That's a big signal, isn't it?
It is. If they're going to be a jerk to that person, they're probably... That's a good judge of their personality going forward. Also, pretending to be more knowledgeable about something than they actually are is a deal breaker. So a know-it-all, basically, is what you're saying. And the number one dating deal breaker, according to this list, is smelling bad.
Yeah.
But how do you tell someone that they stink? That's always fraught with peril,
or
right?
Are you obligated if you say, all right, this isn't working out for us? Are you obligated to give a reason?
That's true. A lot of people demand it, but then they'll demand the reason why we're breaking up, but then gets upset about the reason why we're breaking up.
I mean, I think an exit interview is always fair. I'm saying, okay, You've worked here for 4 years. We've been together. What do you think? What worked out for you? What didn't? Well, how can I improve the next time?
Exactly. I'd like to workshop some ideas for the next one, so this does not happen. Okay, bad teeth. Maybe I go to a dentist. Smell bad. All right, and need to clean my fingernails. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck in your future endeavors.
Now, I tell you, and I don't want to mess up your order here.
No, that's fine.
Too good for radio because I know that people expect some.
Oh yes. What they know.
But that list really does play into a letter that was recently sent in to Dear Prudie.
Okay, perfect. Lay it on me.
Is it okay if I do this here?
Yeah,
I think it really connects to this
yes,
thing.
lay it on me. Because I got another Dear Prudie we get in with. So.
Okay. Same kind of deal. She says, woman writes in and she says, I just got married right before Christmas, and I'm hoping to be divorced by the end of January.
Oh, yikes.
I never really cared about getting married, but I wasn't opposed to it. So my boyfriend proposed. We decided to go for it. We each took about half the responsibility for organizing the wedding, and I was pretty reasonable about compromise when he really wanted something.
Okay, 50-50, that's pretty good. In most scenarios, usually I think about 75-25 when it comes to planning.
My only request in this whole wedding is when we get to the cake cutting point, don't hit me in the face with it.
Yeah, that's always. I never understood that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that do? I mean, that's. I understand that dress is not going to be worn again. So if cake gets on it, you dry clean it or whatever, and it just hangs in a closet.
Yeah.
But I never understood why.
Yeah,
why are you smashing the cake?
Right, exactly. And I don't. It's rarely funny. Everybody gets a good laugh, but it's just like, okay, that was that's not what that moment was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Slicey. I'm going
to treat you like a 1-year-old with the baby cake.
Yeah. So evidently he said, okay, wink.
Ugh. One of those
she
jokers.
said, no, I'm serious.
I'm serious. Don't be smashing a cake.
Let's just not do that. That's just ridiculous. It's trashy. We're not going to do that.
It's passé.
Instead, he didn't just smash her with a slice of cake in her face. He grabbed me by the back of my head and shoved my entire head into the cake.
Dude, that is a little overkill.
Not only that, she knows he planned this whole thing because he had a bunch of backup cupcakes to serve to the guests. So he knew he was going to absolutely destroy this cake, rather.
And that's not an inexpensive cake. It's not like wedding cakes are just like $20.
She said, I walked out.
Whoa, Nike.
Next day I said, we're done. That's it.
Rightfully so. I don't know if I would go that far, but that's a big betrayal of trust.
Yes, that's just it. She said, I left. The next day I told him we're done, and I'm standing by that. The thing is that over the holidays, everyone has gotten together to tell me I should give him a second chance, that I'm overreacting because of my issues. She says in parentheses, I'm very claustrophobic after a car accident and absolutely panicked at being shoved into a cake and having my head held underneath a cake. I love him, he loves me, and that means not giving up on the first hurdle. I don't want to, but everyone is so united and confident in their assurance that I'm making a terrible mistake. I'm wondering if they are right. Should I at least give him until February?
Boy, this is a tough one. Because not only did he betray the trust, but he went above and beyond being an asshole.
Hell yeah.
Like, she's already said no, and he's like, wink, wink. And she goes, no, I mean it, dickhead. I don't want cake in my face. He goes, sure you don't.
There's no way that this or something worse than this doesn't come up in the marriage sooner rather than later.
Correct.
He is absolutely unpleasant. There's no way.
Because he seems like a kind of dude is like, bros, in his wedding party, bros. So she said no cake in the face. Watch what I do.
Right.
This is going to be hilarious.
Like,
I'm just going to grab her and
like if somebody says to you, hey, really, I'm afraid of spiders. It freaks me out. I just can't, I can't handle it when there are spiders around. And you go to the dollar store and get a bunch of rubber spiders and throw them at somebody, you're being an ass.
Correct.
It's not funny.
I know my wife has a fear of snakes.
Yeah.
It'd be like if I'm like, all right, for April Fool's Day, here's what I do. I'm going to put a fake snake in the toilet.
Funny.
No, it's not. you're terrifying the poor person.
Yeah. Why would you torture somebody like that? And if that's your mindset, and you can't go, oh, okay, this is where the line is, and we don't do that kind of stuff around here.
And the fact the
it's
fact
not teasing.
The fact is that he thought buying the backup cupcakes made it all good. He's like, but come on, babe, look at me. I mean, people are still getting to eat some type of cake. I got us cupcakes. Like, he's going to put it on her that it's your issues, babe. Like, this is what we do at weddings.
Yeah, they got engaged in 2020, so you assume that they've probably been together for a while before that. And so here it is, 2023 now, and she says, we're done. The line has been crossed, and we are done, and I'm 100% behind her.
Well, let's see if this marriage of 16 years can make it through this particular Dear Prudie. Here it starts. And by the way, this segment of the program brought to you by Nugenics.
Oh, good.
Text hard to whatever number it is, and she'll like it too. I'm a man in his 50s, married to my second wife for 16 years. Our sex life has clearly diminished over the course of the years, with quick, routine sex before sleep at best every 2 to 3 months or so. What is quick routine sex before bed?
What do you have, a checklist?
Exactly. Like, all right, me on top, you on top. All right, done. Sleep. Good to see you.
Good night.
See you in another 90 days. As a result, I have focused my sexual energy, which I definitely still have.
Yeah.
Why you got to put that in parentheses, you weirdo?
I put Doug Flutie to shame.
The big hurt. Yeah. I have focused my sexual energy, which I still definitely have, toward erotic fantasies about my wife. I envision her in all sort of wild, tabooless sex with strangers and friends alike.
Jeez. I think you're going beyond fantasies.
Oh, it gets better. As I possess some pretty decent Photoshop skills, I have started to visualize these fantasies in a very convincing fake pictures of high quality, almost artsy level, at least so I like to flatter myself in thinking. I have kept these pictures strictly for myself, occasionally whipping up a batch of thunder to them, although I find the real thrill in making up and realizing the erotic scenes.
Holy crap.
He goes on.
All right.
It's simply a non-harmful way to channel my sexual energy. Regrettably, my wife has run into the pictures, and she is disgusted by them. Although I have assured her they are only for myself, and I have no desire whatsoever to see any of these fantasies actually come true. Am I really doing such a horrendous thing? I'm not the cheating kind. I would never leave my wife, and the only thing I afford myself, just to keep my libido satisfied, is creating these erotic visuals. Should I give up my secret quote-unquote hobby?
Holy crap.
So he's photoshopping his wife
my gosh.
into these erotic photos that he is now saying that he is the blood artist with. Like, oh no, they're tasteful nudes of my wife in these tabooless fantasies that I have of sex with strangers and family alike.
I think if I'm the wife, I would have rather have stumbled upon him just flat out watching porn and freaky porn at that. That would be more acceptable than this, I think.
Oh, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is just unnerving. Like, if you're the wife, to your point, you stumble upon him watching the porn, you go, okay, I understand. But, shouldn't there be a conversation had before it gets to that point, though, of like, hey, I'm a man that still has a libido, and this routine before sleep sex we're having every 2 to 3 months isn't enough for me. Before you get to the point where you have to Photoshop erotic photos, shouldn't you have a conversation first?
How was he?
But how unnerving is that of you're the wife and you walk in and there's these God knows what scenes and your face is Photoshopped on whatever's going on with the sexual calisthenics of the woman in the picture.
Yeah, because what I'm imagining is that they're on vacation taking generic, hey, here's me in front of Niagara Falls photos, but he's asking her to make weird poses. Like, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to be on your knees with your head tilted back and your arms kind of grabbing onto your own ankles. Why do you want that? Why? Just do it. Just do it for you. Just do this for you.
Could you open your mouth wider with that piece of steak? Why am I in this pose? I'm really trying to get the granular nature of just how well this steak was prepared.
Right.
Why do you want me to eat so many carrots or bananas all of a sudden? Mm-hmm. It's just bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Is there any coming back from this?
That would be pretty horrifying, wouldn't it? And I'm trying to turn the tables, and I think I'd be equally horrified if I walked in and a woman was making erotic pictures of me. It's like, all right, that's a little what? I'm right here.
Right, exactly. Why you jump into that?
How did he go from? Because I would think a couple, okay, if things aren't working in the bedroom and they're not feeling as close, you have some sort of a conversation. Maybe you bring a therapist, and I don't know, you do something.
Correct.
You buy a big jar of Nugenics and you sprinkle it over the salad when you're having dinner.
You powder it up and put it in her drink and see what happens.
You do something.
Because according to the commercial, she'll like it too. So why not put it in her tea?
I can probably come up with 24 other steps before you get to this.
Erotic photoshopping.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear what
Yes.
Prudy has to say to this? Prudy responds, there are two very different questions here, although you are only asking one. Should you give up your secret hobby? Absolutely.
It's not a hobby.
They may be photoshopped, but they are recognizable images of your wife, and she is deeply, deeply opposed to them. Delete them. Empty your trash. Burn the computer.
Yeah.
I know that you have said you will never leave your wife, but you need to be asking yourself about the way forward. Sexual incompatibility is a big deal, and it can really eat into a way at intimacy if you let it. Are you able to cope with your conflicting libidos without these images? Can you share your fantasies with her? Would she be okay if you whipped up a batch of thunder next to her? She doesn't have to be a part of it. She's just there. The discovery
That's a little off-putting, though, too,
yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly. Hey, do you mind if I do this?
Just look the other way for a second while I tend to myself.
This discovery has created a logical moment in your marriage for you to put everything on the table. She may also be discontented with your sex life, and I have hopes that eventually you may be able to come closer together, she says, pun intended. Keep in mind that she is still recovering from what she found, which must have been an extreme shock. So you can't just be like, hey, I understand.
Right.
Let's talk about it and do it. That's not going to happen. She's likely creeped out and needs a little time. Maybe it may be wise to say, I've deleted all the pictures. You're welcome to look. Can we talk about our sex lives in a month or so? Let it kind of seep in. I'm so sorry to upset you in this, and I recognize I should not have done what I did. You're in the doghouse now, but if or when things are back to normal, don't let it go back to stasis to where you have to go back to your photoshopped weird erotic pictures of your wife.
You could order a Victoria's Secret catalog. That might be step one if you need some sort of visual distraction to entice you, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you can order a cable channel that shows this sort of thing late at night, maybe, if you need to do that.
Right. Is Fredericks of Hollywood still a thing?
Maybe. I don't know.
They were like the more like risque version of Victoria's Secrets. Yeah. I remember that. Someone had signed my dad up for a series of all those catalogs. Someone within the office, so they would, happen upon the house or whatever. And I do remember a young impressionable Mike here, my mom going, I know you. I know you're of an age. If you want to look at these catalogs, there's nothing creepier than your mother telling you it's okay to look at these catalogs.
She probably set you back a good dozen years of being of age.
Yes, I'm sure she did by her saying it's okay if you want to look at these. Now I don't.
Yes. If you have any questions about what that is, I'll tell you.
Yeah. No. So there's many ways to go about it. The last resort of which should be you pretending to be some type of purveyor of fine pornography with your Photoshop.
So as we began the episode, I will say it again, we make the society better. Because you hear this and you go, oh, okay, I'm not that weird.
Correct.
My life isn't that goofed up.
You feel much
I'm doing all right.
You feel much better about yourself after Too Good for Radio podcast.
You should. We bring you these stories so you go, oh yeah, well geez, okay, I got a weird hobby, but I'm not sucking my own blood out of my veins to paint with them.
Or photoshopping erotic photos of my wife.
Yeah, I didn't get a cancer diagnosis over Christmas, did you?
No.
See,
we're doing okay.
Life is good. Welcome to 2023. Blue skies, green lights all ahead.
I mean, you're weird enough already listening willingly to this podcast. You don't need to add any more kinks.
You feel better now to this.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next week, folks.
Yeah. More poop and sex.
On the Poop and Sex podcast.
And she'll like it, too.
Should we start a Patreon so we can get back on the radio with Let's Talk Poo and Sex Saturdays on the radio station? Maybe. We'll see.